Very good afternoon and welcome to LFS for this very strange live stream for the very first Champions League draw live for the league phase of the Champions League. Of course, the new format of the new Champions League, 36 teams instead of 32 and 4 pots of 9, and it'll all be randomly decided. We're going to go through the procedure of the whole draw and what the new Champions League is going to look like. It's going to be very strange, not used to not having the draws, the groups in the draw, but it is going to be a very strange draw this afternoon. But we'll go through it and we'll talk through it and we'll all learn together, getting our heads around it. Just to say that this is going to be new for me as well, so if there's anything wrong, do the very best. To try and give you as much detail as I possibly can. On the screen then, in the middle, usually we have our match map on these streams, but we will have the teams as they're drawn out, and we will have all of their 8 opponents that will be released when the software is done. I have no idea how UEFA are going to do it. We're all as clueless as each other. It's going to be a big surprise, but we'll wait and see. They currently have someone on the stage singing the Champions League anthem while showing historic pictures of the Champions League, because they have had a tweak to the Champions League theme tune for this year, a theme tune that's been going on for over 30 years, but you know, UEFA typically want to have a new format of the Champions League and want to change the theme tune, a historic and iconic theme tune that everybody knows very well, but I'm not going to bore you with that information for now. First, let's just run you through the procedure, because it's going to take ages before they get anywhere near giving us any of that detail. But UEFA have kindly given us a presentation that you can talk about. So this is the new format explained. Now the Europa League and Conference League, they're going to be reimagined as well, along with the Champions League. The new format, as it says there, 2024 to 2027. So there might be even more changes to come in a few years' time. But for now, we're sticking with this for 3 years, our UEFA. And let's talk through it then together. So a new era. Next season begins the start of a new era for the blah 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 blah. For the different teams, most significantly, the current 32-team group stage in each competition will be replaced with a league phase featuring 36 teams. Of course, qualification based on sporting merits all remains the same. The qualification situations it goes through all that detail. This is the key detail we want. There are now 108 teams to take part in the new league phase of the three competitions in UEFA. That's 36 teams per competition in the Champions League, Europa League, and Europa Conference League. Now, the Conference League might not be is not the same, but we'll get to that detail in a moment. The league phase then. So the current 32-team group stage will be replaced by a single 36-team league phase. All results will be counted in the same ranking as 3 points per win, 1 per draw, and none for a loss. The final ranking of the league phase determines which 24 teams advance to the knockout phase, and furthermore their seeding position for the knockout phase. Basically, it's turned into a league table, as it would be in a normal domestic league. The Champions League is actually turned into the Champions League in terms of a Champions Cup, in terms of a cup competition that we've had previously. It's going to be more of a Champions League than ever before. For that, then, as you can see, the 36-team leagues in the new system, it will be 8 games per team, as previously it was 6 games, where you would play 3 of your other teams in the group twice. It is now 8 games per team, and 8 different opponents. You will play each team once, 4 home and 4 away, and that is in the Champions League and Europa League. So you will play 8 league phase matches against 8 different teams. 4 matches are played at home and 4 are away. So you will not play the same team in the league phase twice. You will play 8 different opponents once. So the draw will be as follows, as you can see there. Their lovely little graphics they've provided. So a draw determines which opponents each team faces in the league phase. Opponents are drawn from pots containing teams of similar strengths to guarantee the opponents are equally balanced for all teams. So that's unchanged. The 4 pots has always been in recent Champions League draws the similar theme of ranking by club coefficients. So basically your performance in UEFA competitions over the last few years, with the teams in pot 1 the best performing teams in European competition over the last number of years, and then the teams in the likes of pot 3 and pot 4 are seen as the newer teams, the up and coming teams that haven't really featured in UEFA competition. So the draw is done with 4 pots as normal. We'll show you the 4 pots in a moment. We'll forget about the Conference League because that's not really important to us at this moment in time. So the knockout phase is unchanged, but there are a few key details as you can see there on your screen. Teams 1 to 8 in the league phase, so teams 1st to 8th when the league table is completed, will automatically qualify for the round of 16. Teams 9th to 24th, so that counts 16 teams, 9th to 24th will then go into a playoff. Teams in the top 8 of that 9th, so that's 9th to, if we count it down, 9th to 16th would all be in a seeded teams, so therefore their second legs will be at home, and teams 17th to 24th will have their second, their home leg will be the first leg in that playoff phase. Teams from 25th to 36th in the league will be eliminated from all UEFA competitions. Previously, it used to be in the group, you used to be able to drop down to the Europa League or to the Conference League. That is now gone from all UEFA competitions, and anybody in the bottom, what would that be? The bottom 12 places, I'm still getting used to this, the bottom 12 places from 25th to 36th would be eliminated from all UEFA competitions. That seeding system, as I said, would work in that sense. 9th to 16th would be seeded teams, and 17th to 24th would be unseeded teams. That basically just says who's going to get the second leg at home. Basically, there's another round up, the round of 16, the knockout playoffs, and the road to the final. The road to the final from the round of 16 right the way through is unchanged. That has never, that hasn't been tampered with, thankfully, because it's a perfect system. So each team, of course, for each round of the knockout stages, will play 1 leg at home, 1 leg away against the same team, and a single leg final, of course, to come from that. There are, obviously, with the league phase and the knockout playoffs, it adds a different kind of dynamic to the build-up to the knockouts. That is the seeding system. As I said, the road to the final is unchanged. It has never changed, and I don't think it will ever change because it's a pretty good system, that one. And the road to the final is the same as it always has been. The match calendar may be a bit complicated, of course. The Conference League doesn't start till October. The Champions League and Europa League start in September and will continue until 8 match days are completed until the end of January, as you can see there. February, March, April and May will all see the knockout stages, of course. And, of course, that's all telling about money and all of that stuff. So we basically covered the main details. To recap it in an easier way into bullet points, as I love to simplify things, this is the simple equation of the new format. The group stage replaced by a 36-team league. Each team will play 8 opponents once, 4 home, 4 away. 2 teams from each pot, so that is the 4 pots. A single team will play 2 teams from each pot and no more than 2 from each single association country. So therefore, for the likes of, for the talk's sake, for Manchester City, they cannot have a team from their own association, so therefore they can't play the likes of a Liverpool or an Arsenal in the league phase. But they can play any team from another association, but only 2 from another association, so Atletico and Real Madrid, and they can't play Barcelona as well as those 2 other teams. Of course, they can't play any team from their own country. The top 8 teams progress to the round of 16. Teams 9th to 24th will play a playoff for the knockout stages, and teams 25th to 36th will be knocked out completely. Simplifying it well. The new schedule, as I said, all matches as normal will be played on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, except for the exclusive week where there will be Thursday games, but that is only one exclusive week, which is the very first week due to scheduling. There will be matches on Tuesday the 17th, Wednesday the 18th, and Thursday the 19th of September, and it is similar all the way through. Match day 8 will be like what you usually see at the end of a league season, like so the Premier League. All of the games will be played simultaneously. So on the 29th of January, that's match day 8 of the Champions League, all 18 matches will be played at the exact same time. It will be an absolute chaotic night, but it will be certainly all in the want of entertainment and joy. Certainly. And to the big moment, these are the 36 teams in the Champions League then for this round, all organised by pot. As you can see, the top row are pot 1, pot 2, pot 3, pot 4, all the way down each row. So Real Madrid are the champions. They have Manchester City, Bayern Munich, PSG, Liverpool, Inter Milan, Bayern, Borussia Dortmund, RB Leipzig and Barcelona are all in the top rank in pot 1. Then Bayer Leverkusen, Atletico Madrid, Atalanta, Juventus, Benfica, Arsenal, Club Brugge, Shakhtar Donetsk and AC Milan are in pot 2. Pot 3, I'm trying to skimp my eyes here, Feyenoord, Sporting, PSV Eindhoven, Dinamo Zagreb, RB Salzburg, Lille and Red Star Belgrade, Young Boys and Celtic are in pot 3. And pot 4 are Slovan Bratislava, Monaco, Sparta Prague, Aston Villa, Bologna, Girona, Stuttgart, Sturm Graz and Stade Brest are the 36 teams. So 4 more teams in this competition, and it's going to be exciting. Of course it is. Again, as I want to reiterate, we have no idea how this is going to work, but I do have an inkling from what I've gathered from the little videos that UEFA have released. And they have released an explainer here. So the draw is executed partly manually, with balls physically drawn from a bowl, and partly digitally through a designated automated software, as further explained in the procedure below. The whole draw process is reviewed and checked by an appointed external auditor. So basically, 4 bowls are prepared for the draw, 1 for each of the 4 draw pots, as you can see in each row there. Each bowl comprises 9 balls containing the names of the teams forming the pot. Pot 1 will start the draw as always. A ball is physically drawn at random for the relevant bowl and is open to display the name of the team drawn, as previously known. Once the name of the team is displayed, the automated software randomly draws 8 opponents for this team, 2 from each pot, including for each opponent whether they are played at home or away. So we will know almost instantly, basically, who will play who at the very point of asking. That's why I said that we will display that as soon as the information is released to us, of course, this afternoon, and that will continue right the way through until each and every team has been allocated all of their 8 opponents right the way throughout the afternoon. I am guessing they will draw all 36 teams eventually out of each pot. Of course, the software does the strangest of things. It is what some would call magic in a previous sense. As I said previously, you can't draw a team from your own country, you can't draw more than one team from a single association, so a single country, and you also will get the benefit of having no deadlock situation. So there isn't a situation where we're leaving one team where they have to play in a certain fixture. That will not happen. There's no deadlock situation to come of this. Again, as I said, if you were watching the Carabao Cup draw last night with me, that was complicated, and that was a first for that. This is even more complicated this afternoon, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. We've no idea what to expect, but that is what makes it so interesting. Let's get to the main page again then for you. As you can see, all the 4 pots down each side. For you, so you know which team is where. They are currently, at this moment in time, talking to Cristiano Ronaldo, who's received a special award from UEFA. So that is currently ongoing on the stage at the moment. Of course, mainly focusing this channel on the Premier League. We're keeping an eye on those 4 Premier League teams in this draw. 2 of them in pot 1 in Manchester City and Liverpool. Of course, recent winners of the Champions League, of course. Arsenal in pot 2. And then Aston Villa are in pot 4. They finished 4th last season in the Premier League, Aston Villa, to qualify for the Champions League for the first time in a long time. Since they won it back in 1982, they won the European Cup as it was known then. That is now 42 years ago, and Aston Villa are back in the competition. And as I said, they're in pot four because it has been so long. Other teams to take your interest, to tickle your fancy, of course, you can see in pot one, it's full of absolute giants of European football. The likes of Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, PSG, Inter Milan, Borussia Dortmund, RB Leipzig, and Barcelona, of course, in there. You may be wondering why Bayer Leverkusen are above Atalanta in pot two, because Atalanta won the Europa League, and usually previously is known that the team that wins the Europa League usually gets into pot one, but that is all changed now. The only team that gets the benefit of not being at the mercy of club coefficients is the Champions League winner, and that is Real Madrid, who are always at the top of the pile. The team with the biggest club coefficient is Manchester City, of course, who've done the very best of any team in terms of their performances in UEFA competition over the last number of years. Well, they're turning their attention to the draw eventually, after all that talking. That's the worst part about these draws. They do a lot of talking at the start. A lot of talking. I love it, but I love they waste all this time. They tell us it starts at 5 o'clock, and we're now at 5:15, and we're still waiting, and they've now just put on a video. So just to remind you then, of course, each team will play 8 opponents once in the league stage, 4 teams at home, 4 teams away, and you will not play the same team twice in the league phase, which was previously known in the group stages, where you used to play 3 teams twice in 6 matches. 8 matches, 8 different opponents. It does make it more exciting, makes it more chaotic, with there being now 18 matches per round, and now that's not massive because there's only 2 extra matches than previously known. It used to be 16 matches per round of fixtures, but it means in total increasing the amount of games to 144 total games we played over this season's Champions League, and certainly gives us a lot more excitement and a chance that maybe we could see some big giants in the earlier rounds in the likes of September, October, November time, where we see the bigger sides. Usually we talk about a group of death where big clubs face each other early on. This is much more likely to see it happen here this time around, because a team from pot 1 can get 2 other teams from pot 1. So for example, Real Madrid could get Manchester City and Bayern Munich. That is very possible to happen, and that's what makes it so exciting and so intriguing, the fact that this has been changed, because it used to be in the groups a team in pot 1 couldn't get anybody else from the same pot as them previously. That used to be the case, but of course that very much changed now, and we're hoping that that goes to benefit us this afternoon. Of course, the Champions League we will have all the way throughout the season, including the live final in May of next year here on LFS. So you'll not miss a single moment here on LFS of the Champions League this year. We will have dedicated matches. We will be, of course, commentating on one match, but keeping an eye on every single game across Europe on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, and then Europa League on Thursday nights as well. And we'll be popping our eye into the Conference League as well every now and again as well for you. The Europa League draw is being done tomorrow as well, along with the Conference League draw. Similarly, in those cases to this, the Conference League is unique, but the Europa League and Champions League, there's very little difference between the two competitions, other than the fact that there's different teams and it's a different colour of a competition. The two are quite similar in the way they're constructed compared to the Conference League now, but it means, as I said, a total of 108 teams in UEFA competitions this year from the very beginning. It means it is more competitive. There is more chance of the likes of, no offence, but a Sturm Graz or a Slovan Bratislava getting a Real Madrid or a Manchester City or a Bayern Munich. Although it was possible previously, but now with more teams, there is more of a chance that can happen. And the fact that each team will play 2 teams from each pot, of course, increases the chances. You have a 1 in 4 chance of getting a big team, a massive opponent, or even the Champions League winner. They're certainly taking their time here. They're still showing this video. It's of Zlatan And the UEFA president, Alexander Caoimhan, on some opera stage, again, with an orchestra playing the Champions League theme again. They're really hammering home this new kind of era of Champions League football. Really hammering home this idea. Of course, many will say, and the critics will say, it's just the Super League in disguise, or kind of what the big clubs in Europe were asking for a number of years ago, where they wanted more of this and wanted more money out of it, and they could argue it's all about money. Most things are in the world, but not to be a cynic, it does mean we get to witness the likes of a, a two huge European clubs a bit earlier in the season, rather than having to wait a few months for that to happen. So, still awaiting. They love to take their time. There we are. We're eventually at the end of that long, drawn-out VT, and they've taken their time. As Alexander Caoimhan applauds there. Hope they get the draw specialist out. This little guy that comes out, and I don't know where he hides all the way throughout the season, but he comes out every draw for UEFA. He's like in charge of all the draws for UEFA competitions, and he's always showing up. Nice little man that comes out and orchestrates the draw. And they're taking their time. Ronaldo and Gigi Buffon are on the stage. They're certainly given us a real proper stage to do this on, but they're taking their bloody time. To be honest, of course, if we maybe do keep an eye on the English clubs, we want to see the English clubs getting those big teams, but also we want them to go far in competitions, of course. I have my own personal interest, but will be... Oh, there he is. Giorgio Marchetti, the UEFA Deputy General Secretary. Oh, fascinating. They're paying tribute to the group stages. 32 years, the group stages from 1992 to 2024. He's talking about the history of the Champions League. Saying it is the pinnacle of football. To be honest, it is. It's the pinnacle of European football, is the Champions League. We love to see. They're the best teams. I mean, Real Madrid are the serial winners of this competition 15 times. I mean, that's unbelievable. 15 times they've won the Champions League. Of course, a couple of those teams in Pot 1 have won it a number of times. Liverpool won it 6 times. Bayern Munich won it 6 times as well. Barcelona 5 times. AC Milan down in Pot 2, they've won it 7 times in their history. But no one comes anywhere close to Real Madrid, who've won it an absolutely astounding 15 times. Fernando says, will you show the draw? Or as the people talk, we can't officially show the draw, but we will show a representation of the draw, as a sense, because there it is there. So if Real Madrid are the first team out, we will go to them, and you can see the kind of who will come out and will be their opponents. But that is if Real Madrid come out first. We'll of course resolve it and fix it as it happens. Right, they're going to do the explainer now. I'll talk you through it again. The explainer. As I said, 36 teams, 9 teams in each pot, in the 4 different pots, as you see down the side of your screen, all based on club coefficients. The team at the very top of that list in pot 1 is Real Madrid, the current holders of the competition. Of course, last night we saw the last of the qualifiers, so it took right until last night before we got the full list of 36 teams. Each team, as I said, will play 8 opponents, 2 from each pot, one home, one away, and they will play each team just the once. It will be randomly selected by software, so a team will be pulled out of the draw and will be randomly allocated 8 teams that they will face in the league phase. As I said, teams can't play a team from their own country and can only play a team from the same association twice out of their 8 games. In terms of pot 1, one team will be drawn, as I said. Their name will be displayed, and they, as I said, will be automatically given their 8 opponents. As I said, 4 home, 4 away, and 1 home and away match for each team from each pot. And they call it the new kind of automated software that they have produced for this since September of last year. They said it's been produced, so a year in the making, this draw software that they have. Of course, UEFA have been using software in their draws for a number of years. And okay, so they just said it will continue until pot 1 is completed. So pot 2 will get the exact same idea. They will be drawn opponents from pot 2. It will continue in that same vein until all 4 pots have had their completed opponents from each pot. So each team will be given 2 opponents from each pot as it goes along until all 4 pots are completed. I know it's complicated and it's difficult. I'm exactly the same, but we will try our very best. Of course, everything will be revealed and who they will play, but the dates will not be released until Saturday at the very earliest, due to the fact of complications in terms of dates and figuring out fixture congestion with the other competitions, the Europa League and the Conference League. Right, let's have a look at pot 1 then. As I said, at top of pot 1 is the champions, Real Madrid, 15 times winners of the Champions League and the holders of the competition after winning it at Wembley in the summer. Manchester City have also won the Champions League just the once under Pep Guardiola, and they were victorious a few years ago against Inter Milan. Bayern Munich, 6 times winners, of the competition. PSG have never won the competition, but were in a final in 2020 in which they lost to Bayern Munich. Liverpool, the 6-time winners of the competition, their last win came in 2019 in Madrid. Internazionale Milano is the full name of Inter Milan. They're also in the competition. Borussia Dortmund, who were in the final in the summer, beaten 2-0 at Wembley by Real Madrid. RB Leipzig, a new name of a club, not new to those who have been watching the Champions League for the various last few years, relatively new compared to the rest of the teams. And Barcelona, the 5-time winners, last won it in 2015, 9 years ago, a long time ago. That's pot 1. And there we go. We saw some clips of those clubs in their recent outings in the Champions League. Remember, a few of these weren't in the Champions League last year. Liverpool were in the Europa League as well last season. But of course, if you're knocked out of this competition, you will not be in UEFA competitions for the rest of this season. Oh, they have a magic button. Oh, magic button to trigger the software. I mean, it's automatic. He's not actually doing that, but it's for show. Cristiano has just to press a button. He's got an easy job, that. Gigi Buffon has to pull out the balls. And that magic twisting of the ball to reveal the team. Let's see who will be pulled out first then, as Giorgio does the little wiggling around of the teams in the pots. And the first team out of the new format of the Champions League is Manchester City. So Manchester City are the first out. And let's see who they will get for this one. Of course, can't get anybody from their own association, so Liverpool, Arsenal and Aston Villa are out of this one, but Manchester City can get anyone else in the draw. Let's see, as it's all being decided here, as you can see. Cristiano pushes that magic button. Let's see who Manchester City will be facing then. And this is who they will get. Inter, PSG, Club Brugge, Juventus, Feyenoord, Sporting, Sparta Prague and Slovan Bratislava. We are calculating that at the moment. It's really mental, this. So Inter at home, PSG away, Club Brugge at home, Juventus away, Feyenoord at home, and they've just taken it away, so I can't see it anymore. Let's move on to the next team. This is very complicated for no reason. Let's move on. Manchester City have been drawn and they've got their opponents. Next out are Inter Milan. They're the teams that Man City have. Let's go to Inter. They will already have known they will face Manchester City, so that's one team from their pot that they will face. Let's see who Cristiano will push that magic button and get out for Inter. So Man City are already a team they will be travelling to. And they will get Leipzig at home, Arsenal at home, Leverkusen away, Red Star at home, Young Boys away, Monaco at home, and Sparta Prague away. The 8 opponents for Inter Milan. So Leipzig at home, Manchester City away from pot 1, Arsenal at home, Leverkusen away from pot 2, Red Star at home and Young Boys away from pot 3, and Monaco at home and Sparta Prague away in pot 4. Are Inter's opponents. We will get those opponents coming up. It's a bit delayed. We're trying our very best to get them. There we come. There we go. UEFA are a bit slow in their own system. That's Inter's 8 opponents. I'll recap them all once the draw is done, by the way. Bayern Munich are next. Let's see where they are in this list. Right up back the very top again. Here are Bayern Munich. Of course, haven't been allocated any opponents just yet, but they're about to. Let's see who their 8 opponents will be. Bayern Munich. The button has been pressed. They will face PSG at home. Barcelona away. What a matchup that is. Benfica at home. Shakhtar away from pot 2. Dinamo Zagreb at home. And Feyenoord away in pot 3. And Slovan Bratislava at home. And Aston Villa away. PSG Bayern and Barcelona Bayern. What a matchup that is to be from pot 1. Incredible. I said it would give us big games. A repeat of the 2020 Champions League final between PSG and Bayern Munich will be replayed at some point this season. And now, of course, that isn't the guarantee that PSG will be the first team that Bayern will play. It's just in the order of being drawn. The calendar will be released on Saturday to see who will play who first. But that is that done for Bayern. Next out in pot 1 are RB Leipzig. All the way down the list. So RB Leipzig already know that they will face Inter away in one of their games. Out of their 8, so their 7 other opponents are being randomly calculated. And here they come. As Cristiano pushes that button. Liverpool at home for Leipzig. Inter Milan away. Juventus at home. Atletico Madrid away. Sporting CP at home. Celtic away. Aston Villa at home. And Sturm Graz away. So Leipzig will face Liverpool at home and Inter away from pot 1. Juventus and Atleti in pot 2. Sporting and Celtic in pot 3. And Aston Villa and Sturm Graz in pot 4. So that is their opponents. Another one of our English teams there involved. That's who's next out. Our Borussia Dortmund are next up. Didn't have to scroll up too much there. Borussia Dortmund are next. Let's see who Borussia Dortmund will face then. They have none of their 8 opponents yet. So let's see as Cristiano Ronaldo will push that magic button again that magically works for him. Dortmund will have Barcelona at home, Real Madrid away, Shakhtar at home, Club Brugge away, Celtic at home, Dinamo Zagreb away, Sturm Graz at home, and Bologna away. So Dortmund, Barcelona, and Dortmund, Real Madrid. What a matchup those are set to be. A repeat of the previous Champions League final for Borussia Dortmund and Real Madrid. Incredible. It was destined to be, surely. It was always destined to be that. Let's be real. Borussia Dortmund have been drawn then. Let's see who's next in that list. There's only 4 teams yet to be drawn. The champions haven't been drawn yet, remember. Barcelona are next, right down the very bottom here of pot 1. There we are, there's Barcelona. They already know from their 2 pot 1 opponents, so they will be facing Bayern Munich and Barcelona teams for Barcelona, at least. Then they have Atalanta at home, Benfica away, Young Boys at home, Red Star away, Stade Brest at home, and Monaco away. So Barcelona already known 2 of their previous opponents. They will face Atalanta and Benfica in pot 2, Young Boys and Red Star from pot 3, and Brest and Monaco from pot 4. Very complicated, but I'm actually enjoying this at the moment. 3 teams to go from pot 1 then, to be drawn. Next out of the 9 teams, team number 7 to be drawn, are Real Madrid, the champions. The holders of the competition are drawn next, straight after their big rivals in Spain. They already know they will face Borussia Dortmund at home in one of their 8 games, a repeat of the 2024 Champions League final. Let's see, they will face Liverpool away, Milan at home, Atalanta away, Salzburg at home, Lille away, Stuttgart at home, and Stade Brest away. So Dortmund and Liverpool out of pot 1 are Real Madrid's opponents. So Real Madrid will be heading to Anfield out of pot 1. They'll also face Milan and Atalanta from pot 2, Salzburg and Lille from pot 3, and Stuttgart and Brest from pot 4. Pot 1 has given up some absolute cracker matchups, I have to say. Real Madrid and Liverpool have competed in a few Champions League finals of the last number of years. So Real Madrid facing previous teams they've beaten in Champions League finals, of course, fairly recently. So next out, 2 teams to go, PSG and Liverpool, to receive their opponents from pot 1 next. And the team out of pot 1 comes Liverpool. So they already know a few of their opponents. They will face Real Madrid and RB Leipzig from pot 1, Liverpool. So they will have Real Madrid at home and RB Leipzig away from pot 1. So let's see who their 6 other opponents are when Cristiano presses that button. They will have Bayer Leverkusen at home, Inter Milan away, or AC Milan, sorry, away, Lille at home, PSV away, Bologna at home, and Girona away. Tough games for Liverpool there. One of our 2 English sides in pot 1. So they will face Real Madrid and Leipzig from pot 1, Leverkusen Milan in pot 2, Lille PSV from pot 3, and Bologna Girona from pot 4. Fascinating for Liverpool there. And just for the easiness of the draw, let's get our final team to be drawn out then, and that is PSG. Paris Saint-Germain, they already know they will face Man City and Bayern Munich from pot 1, so their 6 opponents are still to be placed. So they know Man City at home for PSG and Bayern away. They will have Atletico Madrid at home, Arsenal away, PSV at home, Salzburg away, Girona at home, and Stuttgart away. So some big opponents there. 2 Premier League opponents for PSG, and Arsenal and Manchester City. They'll have Bayern Munich and Atleti as well. PSV Salzburg and Girona Stuttgart for PSG. Very tough draw for PSG. That's very difficult for the champions of France. So pot 1 is complete then. All of their opponents from pot 1. We'll run right through all of the opponents of all of the pots very shortly, but let's just quickly run you through them. Real Madrid, let's pick out a few of their teams. Dortmund, Liverpool, Milan, Atalanta for Real Madrid amongst those. Man City will face Inter, a team they beat in the Champions League final. PSG, of course, for Manchester City. Bayern have PSG and Barcelona. PSG, who Bayern beat in a Champions League final very recently. Bayern and Barcelona have their history as well, at 8-2 historic result from history gone by. Bayern will face Aston Villa as well. Manchester City and Bayern Munich are PSG's opponents. Arsenal as well for PSG. Liverpool face the likes of Real Madrid, Leverkusen, of course. So a lot of exciting ones from Pot 1. Pot 2 then. First up are Bayer Leverkusen, first team to ever win the German league unbeaten. Atletico Madrid are next. Atalanta, the Italian side, are also in Pot 2. Juventus are also in Pot 2, another Italian side. Benfica of Portugal are also in the draw in Pot 2. Premier League runners-up Arsenal are in Pot 2 as well. Never won the Champions League, of course. Club Bruges are also in Pot 2. The Belgian champions. Shakhtar Donetsk, the Ukrainian champions. They're in Pot 2. And AC Milan are also in Pot 2, the 7-time winners of the UEFA Champions League and European Cup. That is Pot 2. Very fascinating, this. So as I've already told you about this situation, Pot 2 will be done the exact same as Pot 1. The team will be drawn at random and they will be given their opponents by the computer, so a lot of teams still don't have a majority of their opponents. And let's see who comes out of Pot 2 first then. Let's see who are we getting out of Pot 2 out of these 9 teams. And Atletico Madrid are first. RB Leipzig and PSG already their opponents for Atleti from Pot 1, so they know 2 of their 8 opponents, 6 to come. Let's see who Atleti will face next. As the magic button is pressed, they will have Leverkusen at home, Benfica away, Lille at home, Salzburg away, Slovan Bratislava at home, and Sparta Prague away for Atletico Madrid. So that big one, looking forward to Atletico against Leverkusen, is going to be a big battle in that one. That's going to be a fascinating one. They head to the likes of Benfica, Salzburg, Sparta Prague, and Paris as well, and PSG to Atleti. So some big trips away for them. For Atleti. Let's see who's next out in the draw. Leverkusen have been known a couple of times in the draw, been named out. Let's see who's next then. Atalanta are next. Already they know who they will face from Pot 1, of course, as do all the teams. Real Madrid and Barcelona. It's easy for Atalanta, surely. Real Madrid at home and Barcelona away for Atalanta. They will face Arsenal at home, Shakhtar Donetsk away, Celtic at home, Young Boys away, Sturm Graz at home, and Stuttgart away. Excuse me. So they will face the 2 biggest sides in Spain. They will face Arsenal as well at home. Celtic, the biggest side in Scotland, which a lot of people won't like, but that is the truth. And that is that done for Atalanta. So 2 teams out of Pot 2 already. Club Bruges are next. Club Bruges. There we are. They're next, and they have already got Borussia Dortmund at home and Manchester City away for Club Bruges. They know their 2 of their 8 opponents, 6 to come then for Brugge. Let's see who's next when Cristiano presses the button. Juventus at home, Milan away, Sporting at home, Celtic away, Aston Villa at home, and Sturm Graz away. So big trips to Glasgow, to Milan, and to Manchester as well for Club Bruges. And they'll be welcoming the likes of Dortmund, Juventus, Sporting, and Aston Villa to their home stadium. So some big opponents for Club Bruges. Let's see who's next then. So 3 clubs out of the 9 out of pot 2. Who's next? And Bayer Leverkusen, the runners-up of the UEFA Europa League from the summer. And they already know three of their 8 opponents. So far, they will have Inter at home. They will head to Anfield to face Liverpool, and also have Atletico Madrid at home. They will also have AC Milan at home, Salzburg at home, Feyenoord away, Sparta Prague at home, and Stade Brest away. So trips to Liverpool, to Atletico, or to Madrid, to face Atletico, Feyenoord amongst them as well. They're moving on a pretty quick now. We're just about getting enough time to read the names of the teams before they take it away off the screen. Next out then, from pot 2, are Arsenal, the runners-up of the Premier League. Were knocked out of the quarter-finals, I believe, in the Champions League last season. PSG, Inter and Atalanta, already 3 of their 8 opponents. They will have Shakhtar at home, Dinamo Zagreb at home, Sporting away, Monaco at home, and Girona away. I'd say it's not, I wouldn't call it favourable, but I wouldn't call it a killer of a draw for Arsenal. PSG, Inter, amongst the 2 biggest clubs in there. Atalanta as well, the Europa League champions, are amongst their 8 opponents. SL Benfica are next on that list, and they are 1 up. There we are. So they've already got 3 of their 8 opponents, as I said. Barcelona at home, Bayern Munich away, and Atletico Madrid at home. Certainly not easy for them, is it, to be honest? They've Juventus away as well, Feyenoord at home, Red Star Belgrade away, Bologna at home, and Monaco away for Benfica. So trips to Munich, to Juventus, to Turin, to Belgrade as well, and Monaco for Benfica. Moving on, I think someone's told them in their ear to hurry up, because moving on with some pace here. AC Milan are next out, and they already know half of their opponents. Of course, they'll be welcoming Liverpool to San Siro. They'll be heading to Real Madrid. Also welcoming Club Brugge and heading to Leverkusen as well. They will also face Red Star at home, Dinamo Zagreb away, Girona at home, and Slovan Bratislava away. So, big trips in there to Madrid, to Leverkusen, to Zagreb, and to Bratislava as well for Milan. As well as facing the likes of Liverpool, Club Brugge, Red Star and Girona all at home for Milan. Two teams to come from pot 2. Juventus and Shakhtar, the 2 still to be drawn. Let's see who's next. Juventus are next then on this list. And they already know 4 of their 8 opponents. Man City and Leipzig, and Benfica and Club Brugge are 4 of the Juventus' 8 opponents. They will also face PSV at home, Lille away, Stuttgart at home, and Aston Villa away. So trips to Leipzig, to Bruges, to Lille, and to Villa, to Birmingham to face Aston Villa. Stuttgart, PSV, Benfica, and Manchester City all at home for Juventus. Of course, Juventus, a former club of both Gigi Buffon and Cristiano Ronaldo. And they're going to have a little chat about this because it's newsworthy, so they're going to waste even more time. Oh, Jesus. They're wasting time now. They sped past every other team, and now because it's Juventus, they're going to talk about it a bit. I mean, hurry up. If you're going to hurry up the draw, do hurry it up. We do know there's only 1 team from pot 2 still to come. By the way, that's Shakhtar Donetsk, so they will, on the basis of things, we hope that they're the only team still to be drawn, otherwise the draw will have to be redone, and we don't want that. Shakhtar Donetsk, then, I'm expecting to be drawn out here by Gigi Buffon in a second. Shakhtar Donetsk, indeed. So they will face Bayern at home, Borussia Dortmund away, Atalanta at home, and Arsenal away are their 4 opponents. The next 4 to be drawn. The big buttons being pressed. Young Boys at home, PSV away, Stade Brest at home, and Bologna away for Shakhtar. So they've got some big ties in the likes of trips to Dortmund, to London, to Eindhoven and to Bologna, and then other opponents there as well at home with the likes of Bayern Munich and Atalanta, Young Boys and Stade Brest all heading to, well, not Donetsk, but facing Shakhtar in those ones. So some interesting battles in there. They're just showing us all the fixtures from Pot 2 at this moment in time. So let's move on to Pot 3 then. I told you they're going to do the whole system. Let's go through it then. So Pot 3, these are the 9 teams. Feyenoord. We're in the Europa Conference League final for a number of years. Sporting Club de Portugal, or Sporting as they're shortened down to, also in Pot 3. PSV Eindhoven, the Dutch champions. Dinamo Zagreb are next out of Pot 3. RB Salzburg are next, or FC Salzburg as they're known, under Pep Lijnders, qualified in the knockouts, in the playoffs a few days ago. Lille as well are in Pot 3 of France. Red Star Belgrade, or Crvena Zvezda as they're known widely. Young Boys are next in Pot 3. And the final team, the 9th and final team out of Pot 3, are the Scottish champions Celtic. So 9 teams in Pot 3. About to find out their 8 opponents. Some of them already know quite a number of their opponents. And we're about to find out who they will face again. Let's see then, as the 9 teams ready to go, and Gigi Buffon has another bowl in front of him with all the Pot 3 teams, and he's going to pull one out. He's going to pull all 9 out, but he's going to pull the first one out now, as the little wriggling around of the bowls in the bowl is as a custom with a draw. I mean, it does very little, but here we go. Next out, oh well, the first team out of Pot 3 are Young Boys. The Swiss side are out then. They already know they will face Inter at home, Barcelona away, Atalanta at home, and Shakhtar Donetsk away. For them, Red Star at home, Celtic away, Aston Villa at home, and Stuttgart away for Young Boys, who trips to Stuttgart, to Glasgow, to Donetsk, and to Barcelona, along with the likes of Inter and Atalanta heading to Switzerland. So Young Boys drawn out. Next, in Pot 3 are Lille. Lille Losk, as they are known. And they are out next. As you can see, they already know 4 of their opponents. Real Madrid at home, Liverpool away, Juventus at home, and Atletico Madrid away. They head to welcome Feyenoord at home, Sporting away, Sturm Graz at home, and Bologna away. So trips to the likes of Anfield, to the Wanda as well, Wanda Metropolitano, Real Madrid and Juventus as well amongst those opponents for Lille. Team number 3 to be drawn out are PSV Eindhoven. Of course, they're up next. If I can get there, there we are. They know they will face Liverpool at home, PSG away, Shakhtar at home, and Juventus away. They're also getting Sporting at home, Red Star away, Girona at home, and Stade Brest away for PSV Eindhoven. So a couple of trips there. Trip to Paris for PSV, not a bad trip. Next out then, the 4th team to be drawn from Pot 3 is Feyenoord. To be drawn next, so all the way up to the top. to the Netherlands side. They already know 5 of their 8 opponents. Bayern Munich at home, City away, Leverkusen at home, Benfica away. They also have Salzburg at home, Lille away, Sparta Prague at home, and Girona away. So big trips there for them. They're moving very swiftly on because we've already skipped our way through. They don't give you much time to have a read of the teams. Next out are Dinamo Zagreb are next on our list. They already know they've Dortmund at home, Bayern Munich away, Milan at home, and Arsenal away to come. They also have Celtic at home, Salzburg away, Monaco at home, and Slovan Bratislava away. So big trips to Munich, to London, to Salzburg, and to Zagreb as not to Zagreb, they are Zagreb as well to come. Bratislava as well for Zagreb. Let's move on then. Next out are Red Star Belgrade or Crvena Zvezda. They are there next. They know 6 of their 8 opponents. Barcelona at home, Inter away, Benfica at home, Milan away, PSV at home, Young Boys away, and Stuttgart at home, Monaco away. Excuse me. So Stuttgart and Monaco to be added to that list there for Red Star. So 3 more teams to be drawn out from pot 3. We're almost at a conclusion. Almost. FC Salzburg, who are one of our qualified teams from the playoff rounds. So Salzburg are coming out next. They already know they've PSG at home, Real Madrid away, Atletico Madrid at home, Leverkusen away, Dinamo Zagreb at home, Feyenoord away, Brest at home, and Sparta Prague away for Salzburg. I mean, it's really quick. I'm still getting used to this. 2 more teams to come. Sporting and Celtic are to come out, the final 2 teams, hopefully. And here are Celtic are next. European Cup champions, of course, previously. Leipzig at home, Dortmund away, Club Brugge at home, Atalanta away, Young Boys at home, and Dinamo Zagreb away, Bratislava at home, and Aston Villa away. So 2, British sides. Scottish and English sides facing off there, Celtic and Aston Villa. I'll be heading to Villa Park will be Celtic. And the final team then, we know who it's going to be, hopefully, is Sporting. They have Man City at home, Leipzig away, Arsenal at home, Bruges away, Lille at home, PSV away, and also Bologna at home and Sturm Graz away for Sporting. So a couple of big trips there as well. They welcome 2 Premier League sides to Sporting to their stadium in Portugal. Of course, Man City and Arsenal to come for them. Of course, another one of Cristiano Ronaldo's teams, Sporting, so they're going to waste a bit more time. Trips away to Eindhoven, to Sturm Graz, and to Bruges as well for Sporting. As that's pot 3 complete. Let's pick out that the Scottish side, Celtic. They've got a couple of big trips, as I said. A trip to Aston Villa in the mix for Celtic. They face the likes of Dortmund as well, Atalanta, Leipzig. So a couple of trips to Germany as well. A few Italian trips as well for Celtic. Good to see for Celtic there. Pot 4 are the final 9 teams, and we are coming to a close. We've been here for over an hour now doing this draw. If this is the same every year, just give us a lie down, really. It never usually takes this long. Next, Slovan Bratislava are in pot 4. They got their way through the playoffs last night. AS Monaco, the French side, or the Monegasque side, whatever you want to call them. Sparta Prague were in the Europa League last season, have been promoted to the Champions League. Aston Villa, their first appearance in the Champions League in 42 years. You already know they have a couple of big opponents to come. Bologna are next. Another one of those Italian sides. Girona are making it for the first time in the Champions League after their incredible season in La Liga last season. did go for the title for the long haul of that. Stuttgart are next, the German side. Another big season for a somewhat smaller club in their country in Stuttgart. Sturm Graz are next. And the final team to be called out are Stade Brest of France in pot 4. So, pot 4 ready to go then. Our final, the final of our teams. And let's see who all of these teams will be playing then. For a couple of these big clubs, it's historic moments for them. Let's see who's going to be pulled out first of the 9 teams from pot 4. First to come are Stuttgart, are the first team to be drawn out. They already know they've PSG at home, Real Madrid away, Atalanta at home, Juventus away, Young Boys at home, and Red Star away. Let's see what Cristiano pulls out for us then out of the hats. Sparta Prague at home and Slovan Bratislava away. Of course, all of these teams will now know their opponents from their same pot, so they'll all be familiar. Sparta Prague at home and Slovan Bratislava away for Stuttgart. Next out are Girona. Of course, their first ever appearance in the Champions League. As I said, finished in an incredible position in La Liga last season. They'll be welcoming Liverpool at home, PSG away, Arsenal at home, Milan away, Feyenoord at home, and PSV away. They will also have Slovan Bratislava at home, as I said, and Sturm Graz away for Girona. Next up, Bologna are next to be drawn. They have Borussia Dortmund at home, Liverpool away, Shakhtar at home, Benfica away, Lille at home, Sporting away, and their next 2 opponents from pot 4 are Monaco at home and Aston Villa away. Another big trip to Villa Park for Bologna. So that's an exciting one. So that completes Bologna's fixtures and their opponents for the Champions League. 6 teams, still to be drawn out of this pot. And Stade Brest are next. Also, their best ever league finish last season. Let's see who their opponents are. Real Madrid at home, Barcelona away, Leverkusen at home, Shakhtar away, PSV at home, and Salzburg away. And they also have Sturm Graz at home and Sparta Prague away for Stade Brest. There are their 8 opponents. So 5 teams still to be drawn. Aston Villa, the Premier League team that finished 4th last season, did Aston Villa. They've just 1 opponent to be appointed. Bayern Munich at home, Leipzig away, Juventus at home, Club Brugge away. Also on the list, Celtic at home, Young Boys away, Bologna at home, and Monaco away for Aston Villa. So Monaco were the last team to be appointed for Villa. So that completes their opponents list. Some tough opponents there for Unai Emery's side. 4 teams to be drawn into this pot then. And Sparta Prague are next then. They've already got their 8 opponents. Inter at home, Man City away, Atleti at home, Leverkusen away, Salzburg at home, Feyenoord away, Brest at home, and Stuttgart away for Sparta Prague. Slovan Bratislava are out next. They already got their 8 opponents. Man City at home, Bayern away, Milan at home, Atleti away, Dinamo Zagreb away, or at home, Celtic away, Stuttgart at home, and Girona away are their 8 opponents. So 2 more clubs to come before the draw is completed, and AS Monaco are next. Of course, they've already got their opponents, as I said. Barcelona at home, Inter away, Benfica at home, Arsenal away, Red Star at home, Dinamo Zagreb away, Aston Villa at home, and the last one there is Bologna away. And the 36th and final team to be drawn out are Sturm Graz. They have Leipzig at home, Dortmund away, Bruges at home, Atalanta away, Sporting at home, Lille away, Girona at home, and Brest away. So those are all 36 teams given their 8 opponents for the Champions League. It is done and dusted. Of course, the whole draw we're going to run you through right from the very start. We're not going to bring you through each and every team. We're going to pick out a couple of big teams. We're going to pick out all the teams from pot 1 because it's going to be very interesting. Let's see then, right up to the very top again for you. And starting with the champions, as I said, some big games for them to come. Borussia Dortmund at home, a repeat of the Champions League final of 2024. They head to Anfield to face Liverpool, a familiar foe in Champions League finals over the years. AC Milan as well for Madrid, the top two teams in terms of Champions League titles. Atalanta away, the Europa League winners. Salzburg, one of the big teams of the playoffs. Lille at home. They head to Stuttgart, and they also welcome Stuttgart, to the Bernabeu, and Stade Brest away for Madrid. Also for Manchester City, if we go down for Manchester City, they have Inter at home, again, a repeat of a previous final in the Champions League. They have PSG away, Club Bruges at home, Juventus away, Feyenoord at home, Sporting away, and Sparta Prague and Slovan Bratislava for Manchester City. Some big games in there. That trip to Paris is eye-watering, as well as Inter's trip to Manchester City. Maybe Inter wanting to get revenge for losing that Champions League final. Bayern Munich are next from pot 1, as I said. PSG at home for them. Head to Barcelona. What a trip that is going to be. They also have Benfica, Shakhtar, Dinamo Zagreb, Feyenoord, Slovan Bratislava, and they head to Aston Villa for Bayern Munich, heading to Villa Park. PSG, you can see their opponents there as well, a welcoming Man City, and a trip to Arsenal as well for PSG. For Liverpool, they have Real Madrid at home, Leipzig away, Leverkusen at home, of course, their former player, Liverpool's former player, in Xabi Alonso, the Leverkusen manager. Milan away, of course, Liverpool-Milan have had some big Champions League games over the years, a couple of finals as well in there. Lille, PSV, Bologna, and Girona are Liverpool's other opponents. For them, Inter as well, as you can see their opponents there. Dortmund, the beaten finalists, they welcome Barcelona. They head to Real Madrid. Shakhtar, Club Bruges, a big game against Celtic for Dortmund there. That will be a keen one to be watching. Singlo Dunya Park, Dinamo Zagreb, Sturm Graz, and Bologna as well. We're going to head to pot 2. Let me just show you Arsenal then, because that is another one of interest. For us, Arsenal have PSG at home, Inter away, Shakhtar at home, Atalanta away, Dinamo Zagreb at home, Sporting away, Monaco at home, and Girona away. Sporting and Arsenal have battled horns as of recently. In last season's Champions League, Sporting were actually took Arsenal all the way to extra time and penalties last season. I do, if I'm correct, believe they knocked out Arsenal last season. Let's go to pot 3 then. Another team that we are interested in is Celtic of Scotland. Of course, they're involved in the have the Old Firm derby at the weekend that we'll be watching here in LFS. Celtic then, they have Leipzig at home, Dortmund away, Club Bruges at home, Atalanta away, Young Boys at home, Dinamo Zagreb away, Slovan Bratislava at home, and Aston Villa away. That is a big one. Celtic Aston Villa at Villa Park will be an absolute keen watch for that one. And the final team we'll mention, of course, is the other Premier League side in Aston Villa. They're all the way down in pot 4. There we are. And they have Bayern Munich at home. What a game that is. Leipzig away, Juventus at home, Club Bruges away, Celtic at home, Young Boys away, Bologna at home, and Monaco away. Aston Villa have some big European nights to come at Villa Park. Bayern Munich, Juventus, Celtic. 3 huge home games for Aston Villa. What a way to be reigniting the fire of Champions League football back at Villa Park. Incredible. That is the 2024-25 Champions League main stage draw. It is done and dusted. The 36 teams have been given their 8 opponents. At the moment, the calendar is still will be decided in the next coming days. Saturday, UEFA are saying the calendar will be decided. So in terms of the order of the teams here on this list is not the order that the teams will play their opponents in Of course, as I said, with Europa League and Europa Conference League draws to come in the next few tomorrow, on Saturday we will have the full calendar of who and when these teams will be playing their Champions League games. But just to remind you of the schedules of the Champions League, so you get a hint of when these teams could play. This is the schedule list. Match day 1 is the 17th to the 19th of September. Match day 2, the 1st and 2nd of October. Match day 3, the 22nd and 23rd of October. The 5th and 6th of November sees match day 4 take place. 26th and 27th of November is match day 5. Match day 6 is the 10th and 11th of December. 21st and 22nd of January is match day 7. And the final match day of all the league phase games is the 29th of January, which is a Wednesday, if I'm correct. As I said, all the matches to be played on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. The exclusive week, which is match day 1, will have Thursday games, and all the matches on the final match day will be played simultaneously. That is the UEFA Champions League draw for the very first time this season, and on a very new format. We thank you very much for joining us this afternoon for this one. We hope you enjoyed it. It was very different, very interesting, and we'll be looking ahead to some big opponents to come for a lot of the Premier League teams. We'll be releasing all the Premier League teams' opponents to come in the next coming hours, so do keep an eye on our community page as well. And as soon as the schedule list is done, we will have the full list of fixtures, and as soon as we get selections on TV rights and all that, we will know who we will be having here on LFS. Match day 1 is no sooner than around about less than 3 weeks away. The Champions League, new format, new system, new regime, new era of the Champions League is about to get underway in less than 3 weeks' time, and we cannot wait. Thanks for your company for this one, and we'll see you very shortly. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.